Welcome to Leading Together podcast. I'm Sean Lee, joined as always by my co-host, Joe Olwig. And for season 2 of Leading Together, we've adjusted the format a little bit. We're going to have some amazing guests on. And today, we've got our very first guest, Fozzy Whittaker. Welcome, Fozzy.
What's going on? I appreciate the opportunity. First guest ever. I think I got some big expectations to fill, but man, I'm greatly appreciative that you all thought of me and this opportunity to share about leadership on you guys' platform.
You bet, Fozzy. Well, let me tell our listeners a little bit about you. So Fozzy is a former NFL running back and current college football analyst with ESPN. Before being at ESPN, he worked at the Longhorn Network. He played college football at University of Texas and spent several seasons in the NFL with teams, including 4 years with the Carolina Panthers. 4 years or 5 years, Fozzy?
5, actually.
5 years. Five seasons with the Panthers. And he also was a part of their Super Bowl team in 2016. Fozzy is also my friend and neighbor. I get to see Fozzy all the time because our daughters get off at the same bus stop. And it just happens to be Fozzy's birthday, which we didn't realize when we booked the pod. So Fozzy, any birthday plans today or this week?
I won't be doing too much. I get a chance to kind of relax. I got a sick kiddo. The older one, Frost, is apparently sick. I went and dropped Nova off at school this morning. She wanted to spend some extra time with Pops on his birthday, so I was appreciative of that. And then I went to the gym that my wife and I opened up, Burn Boot Camp, and got my birthday workout on. So feeling good, feeling fresh, revitalized, ready to rock and roll. And I come home, I hear coughing upstairs. I was like, wait a minute, that sounds like a kid. And lo and behold, my son Frost, who's 12, mom said he could stay home from school. She's going to take him to the doctor. And so hopefully everything is all good with him. He's been having some, I would probably say symptoms of an allergy or maybe a minor cold the past couple of days. So just precautionary. And then I think I'm going to go out to the park and take some photos. I'm big into bird photography. Now that I'm 37, right? I guess I've reached the age of birding. So that's where I'm at right now. So I got a new camera. Been trying to learn some of the kinks and the new kind of features with this camera. And so I've been trying to find some cool shots that I can take at a park. So I'll probably do some of that, little disconnect from the busy day-to-day life and get kind of in tune with nature a little bit and just enjoy not having to do much.
That sounds like a great birthday itinerary. I don't like to do much on my birthday. So love that you're doing that. I feel like you hit the birding phase of your life maybe a few decades before most people. But a little early, but that's good.
I've been a nature lover, animal lover since I was a young kid. I used to always come home and watch Animal Planet, the Discovery Channel, Nat Geo Wild. That's what I used to watch at nighttime to go to bed. Like my mom always would ask why I'm looking at animals all the time. I used to sneak animals into the house because she's deathly afraid of anything that moves. So I used to have to try to hide some of the little different pets that I would find outside and all of those things. So it's been a part of my life for a long time. I've just never done photography for it. So I think it's just the next phase and evolution of where I'm at in my life, being able to have a little bit of free time and just utilizing it, being outdoors.
Love that. Yeah. Joe, you want to take us into our first question for Fozzy?
Yeah. So looking back, right? So you've competed at some of the highest levels in football. Now you work in media with ESPN. And to sort of open up today, I want to ask you to look back on, the experiences, the people, the moments that most shaped the way that you approach life, approach leadership, approach teamship today. So what are some of those most memorable and impactful points of shaping your approach to leadership?
Well, everything for me, it starts up top with my faith and my religious belief. I was raised within the church in Houston, Texas. My mom was a big benefactor of understanding, knowing where your strength comes from and really showing what it means to be a leader, even at that age where I was a young boy, not really understanding what it meant to be a part of church, what it meant to be involved in church, what it meant to know God for myself. And then started understanding it as I grew older, right? As a kid, you're just there because you're forced to go. But as you get older, you start realizing that there's a connection that can be made, and you start looking at some of the teachings. And for me, Jesus, the way that he walked the earth, that's the ultimate leader right there. You talk about sacrifice, you talk about somebody that literally put everything on the line and did everything perfectly the way that you would want it done. That's where I started to really understand that these are the traits and qualities that I want to be associated with.
Mm,
And if it wasn't for my mom, on top of my faith, being able to intertwine those two things and really make it truly about being a servant for others, about putting others first, about utilizing love in the way that you're supposed to utilize it, about having a positive attitude, then I wouldn't have shaped into the person that I was in high school and college and the professional ranks and where I'm at now with ESPN. And so it created an opportunity for me to become a leader in and of myself for my high school team, for my college team, and even in the NFL and the professional ranks. And some of my peers look at me in that type of role now as they try to do some of the similar things that I've been able to do and experience in my life. And I still go back to the foundational teachings of what I was taught in my faith and the same thing that my mom taught me. And so I would say those are the two most influential things that have shaped my lifestyle and my leadership style to be able to put me into the position that I'm in now.
love it.
Fozzie, is there any thank you for sharing those 2 foundational pieces. Is there
Mhm.
any, um, after that, is there any, like, coach that comes to mind? I'm
Oh, yeah,
curious that yeah, can you share and yeah, and
absolutely.
how what was it that really they impressed upon you to help you become the type of leader you are?
So my very first little league coach that was coaching me whenever I started playing tackle football. His name was Robin Henry. He passed away a few years ago, so RIP to him. But his impact obviously is still living on through myself and the individuals that played for him. His son is also still alive and a focal leader of somebody that I still connect with in Pearland, where I grew up on the south side of Houston. But Robin Henry was the guy that kind of opened up the potential for me
Mm,
to understand how good I may have been in football. For me, it
mm.
was just I like to run fast. I don't want to get hit and just go score touchdowns, right? That was kind of my goal. It's just like I just want to play. I have two older brothers. One's 4 years older than me. The other's 6.5 years older than me. And they were two of my biggest idols. Everything that they did, I wanted to do. I wanted to follow right in the footsteps of
Mhm.
what they did. And so since they played football, well, gosh darn it, little brother's playing football too. It's not just for you all, it's for me as well. And so I saw them playing, I saw them doing things, scoring touchdowns. I was like, well, that's what I want to do too. So for me, I was just doing basically what my brothers did. But Coach Henry was the guy that kind of saw that potential within me, put me in a position playing running back. And so I've been playing running back since I was a wee tot, as we like to say. And he had that belief within me and just set up plays to help me be successful, help continue to train the mindset that he wanted not just me, but the entire team to possess. Like we're going to be the physically toughest team. We're going to be the most conditioned team. We're going to be the mentally tough team. And that started in Little League with him. And I would say somebody that's equally as important was my very first track coach. His name was Freddie
Mm,
Smith.
mhm.
Coach Freddie was an unbelievable man of character, a man of faith as well. And a guy that whenever I first started running track, I had no idea what I was doing. Just going out there running raw talent, just doing what I could as I see somebody next to me, I just want to race them and try to beat them from the competitive spirits within me. But I didn't have the guidelines or really the strategy of how to run certain races, whether it was the 100, the 200, or the 400. And
Mm,
Coach Freddie was pivotal in teaching me the game and teaching me the
mm,
strategy of what it meant to be a better track runner.
mhm,
But at the same time, he emphasized life lessons that I
mhm,
still utilize today.
Mm,
And it probably wasn't until I got to high school that I realized he was teaching us to be men rather
Mhm.
than just track athletes to be
Mm.
successful for his
Mhm.
team that track season. And so
Mm.
I would say those two guys were so pivotal in my foundational pieces of building my mindset. And I think
Mm.
that's what really makes it the greatest part of the piece that I'm able to pull from with them is they implemented mental toughness in me in such a early age that I thought everybody was like that. I thought
Mm.
that's how everybody operated. I thought that's how everybody maneuvered. And I thought that's how everybody thought until, you
Yeah.
start doing conditioning and you see people loafing, right? You see
Mhm.
people, you're supposed to be sprinting and they're kind of jogging. Or if we're getting in
Mm.
track practice, they're supposed to be doing the warm up. You're supposed to run 4 laps around the track. You see guys stop at three. And I
Mm.
was like, okay, this is different. I thought everybody kind of thought the way that Coach Freddie and Coach Henry kind of
Mhm.
taught us, but that's not true. And it doesn't necessarily hold true. Even as you get older, you start to see it even more
Mhm.
apparent. And so
Mhm.
I realized how great of teachings they were trying to instill in us. And some people accepted it, some people rejected it. That's life in general. But for me, I embraced it. And I think it kind of created an identity for me to fully step into the teachings and really believe in the
Mm.
teachings to help grow me as not just as an athlete, but as a young man as well.
Yeah. Fozzie, you're calling on a few timeless principles when it comes to great leadership. One is sort of modeling or leading by example, whether it was your mom, your brothers, right, your
Hmm.
coach. You saw what great leadership looked like. You saw modeling, and that is so impactful, right? And
Yes.
this other one, though, that you call out as well is instilling a belief in people, right?
Mhm.
And that's what you named with Coach Henry, right? He really saw this potential in you. And oh man, how powerful that is when we feel that sense of belief from someone else. Tell us more. What did that? How did he do that? What did that feel like?
Yeah, for him, it started, and I want to say it probably was my very first season of playing tackle. We made it all the way to the Super Bowl. We had I'm sorry, lost one game in the regular season, and it's against actually my best friend now. His name's Sam Proctor, the South Belt Dolphins. That's who we played against. And coming into the game during the regular season, we had basically ran through every other team. It was an opportunity for me to, go showcase my talents, my abilities. Coach Robin would give me those opportunities. He knew he had a fast kid, right? Get the ball to the fast kid, let him run
Mhm.
outside,
Mhm.
and hopefully we get a touchdown and we score. And for 4 games throughout the course of the season, starting it off, that
Mhm.
had been the case. You give me the ball, I run outside, had great blocking. People made sure I had holes to run through,
Mhm.
and then I go score a touchdown, and I do that multiple times, and we would win. And that was part of the process that we thought we were supposed to be learning,
Yeah.
and we were learning. Don't get me wrong, but we come up against this team called the South Belt Dolphins, and they had a guy that ran just as fast as me. They had a guy that he was taller than me, too, bigger than me. His name's Sam Proctor, like I said, and I got hit so hard the very first time I went up against him, I had no idea, like, "Whoa, what just happened?" I
Yeah.
needed, like, a reset. I needed an entire, like, "Is this possible? There's somebody that's, like, as fast as me and somebody that's bigger than me, and he can hit hard? Like,
Yeah.
how is this real?" And then it was that moment, like, I got the wind knocked out of me, like, I couldn't breathe. I was out for, like, a couple
Mhm.
of plays. And Coach Robin looked at me and he was like, "Hey, man, I understand, you haven't been in this situation before, but we need you. Your team needs you. Like, if we don't have you, we don't really have a good chance of winning this game. And at the same time, like, this is a chance for you to showcase who you are and what type of player you want to be." And
Mm.
he didn't say it to that degree. I'm kind of paraphrasing it, but
Yeah.
that's what he basically meant whenever he was speaking words to me about, getting back out there and making sure, I still stay tough. It was part of the reason why whenever we were doing training in preparation for games this season, he emphasized the toughness aspect because football
Mhm.
is a physical sport and you got to be tough to play it. And so I finally go back in there a couple of plays later. He was like, "Yeah, I know you got the wind knocked out of you, but that's okay. That's part of the game. But how you respond to it is, how you will be remembered. And so respond back, and we battle back and forth, and we ended up losing that game by 1 point, 25-26, I believe was the score, the final score. But it was a sense of confidence and a belief that I was like, okay, I got hit hard. This is what happened. I was okay. And so
Mhm.
he made me realize that even though you get hit, or even though you face adversity, or even though you come up against this person that feels like a giant or something that you haven't seen before, rely and trust back on your teachings and your beliefs that I've instilled in you. That's going to allow you to still be successful, right? We may
Wow.
not have won the game, but I still overcame something that I didn't think I could overcome, which
Yeah.
in turn meant success for me in the long run. And so
Mm.
it was a life learning lesson that he was able to instill in me in that game. And we faced the same team in the championship game, and first play, it was very first play, I get the wind knocked out of me again. I'm sure Coach Robin was probably like, "Oh my God, here we go again." It's like he don't want to play this guy. I got butterflies, all sorts of things, right? I've never been hit that hard again by the same person, and we go out and we literally give up 2 touchdowns while I was on the sideline, like play, and then we fumbled. They pick it up and they score again. So it was like 2, 3 plays. They scored two touchdowns in championship game, and again, Coach Robin looks at me and basically has a similar conversation. It's like, hey, man, it's championship game. It's like, I understand if you hurt, you can't go. I understand that. But if you can, like,
Mhm.
this is the time for you to shine. And this is the time for your teammates to really rely on you. And they get a lot of energy. They get a lot of momentum. They get a lot of confidence whenever you're out on the football field. And that was truly the first time that I realized the team plays different whenever there's a leader out on the
Mhm.
field versus whenever that leader is off of the field.
Mm.
And I could see it unfolding before my eyes while I'm on the sideline trying to get my wind back and trying to see if I'm cut out for, physical tough football. And I see my team look different. And I was like, that's not the team that I've been battling with.
Yeah.
And I realized it's because I wasn't out there. And
Yeah.
there's a different sense of pride whenever you're 100% healthy and full strength versus whenever you're only 90%. So whenever I go
Mhm.
back in, we have an opportunity. We come back and we take the lead, and they finally scored right at the end of the game. And we ended up losing that game in a similar format to how we lost to them in the regular season. But again, it was more educational in that loss that I was able to learn a life lesson. And I think
Mm.
that's how Coach Robin was able to pull that out of me, is from that potential. He knew I could be a great player, but he also knew it wasn't an impact on me selfishly from one individual,
Mhm.
but the impact that I had on the rest of my team and how my team played whenever I was out on the football field too. So I think that gave me a different level of confidence about how I needed to carry myself, how I needed to model the leadership, and how I needed to be there for my team whenever they needed to depend on me.
Yeah. That's great. So I'm hearing, you saw your strengths, designed for you to, really be able to deliver on those strengths, and sort of even how he designed the playbook and
Yep.
the plays, right? But then in those moments of adversity, he was right there to continue instilling that sense of belief. Hey, you've not been here before, right? But coached and supported you, in those moments of challenge. Maybe to shift gears here to a different leadership quality. In your career, you've gone through injury,
Hmm.
transition, and this reality that football doesn't last forever. And I want to make a connection to a recent Gallup study. So last year, Gallup released this study across 52 countries. What they found was that the number one thing that people want from their leaders right now is hope. And so I'd love to make the connection to your career, and all of your resilience. Why do you think hope matters so much in the world today?
Well, for me, it kind of goes back to my biblical belief again, and I hate to kind of preach about it, but I also don't hate to preach about it,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But Jesus, in my opinion, was the sign of hope, right?
Mm.
And what he stood for, what he was all about, with so much turmoil around us, so much happening. you get that positivity from someone that you don't necessarily think is thinking about hope whenever there's all this destruction, chaos, and you can talk about any whatever negative thing is happening.
Mhm.
And so for me, whenever I'm going through hard times, like the season-ending injury that I experienced in college that finished my college career, I could have dulled in depression. I could have dulled in not having the perfect finish to my senior year. I could have, stayed in the realm of, oh God, why did this happen to me? I could have stayed there. And rightfully so, a lot of people have that type of mindset or have that feeling of resentment or depression just because it didn't work out the way that they wanted it to.
Mm.
But it brings me back to Coach Robin, right? Coach Henry mentioned, hey, this first time you kind of experienced adversity, you will be remembered for how you handle it. If you
Mm.
don't go back up there and attack it, it's like people may look at you differently. I mean, I was a little kid. I still was probably 8 or 9 years old. So I wouldn't say anybody would look at me like as a coward or anything of that nature. But at the same time, I could be kind of viewed so much more if I go and fight that adversity.
Mm.
And it takes me back to my mom as well, right? If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it 100%. Well, if football was my goal and that was what I wanted to do, and my end goal was to play in the National Football League, which is the pinnacle of professional football, in my opinion,
Mhm.
then why not give 100% to what my dream is? Why not? Why leave anything up to doubt or leave
Mhm.
it to chance when I can control how I respond to it? I can't control the injury. That God had a plan for me to go down that pathway, but I can control how I respond to that injury and how I respond to people that I talk with and how I respond with people that I'm training with and rehabbing with. And so I had my moment where it didn't look all peaches and cream. It didn't look like I was going to have the opportunity to play in the NFL. It didn't look like I had been the best player on the football field for so long. It didn't look like all of these things I had experienced on a positive note. I had my moment. I had the doubt. It crept in. Don't get me wrong. I'm not
Mhm.
oblivious to that. But at the same time, when I experienced it, I had to fall back on my foundational teachings.
Mhm.
What did I
Yeah.
believe in? What do I
Mhm.
trust in? Who do I want to be? How do I want to be perceived and viewed by my peers? How do I want to be remembered?
Yeah.
And that gave me a little extra revitalization. I said, all right, well, if this is my last hoorah, I'm gonna give it everything I got. If I
Yeah.
don't have a chance to play football again, I know I left everything on the field and I can be satisfied with that. I have
Mhm.
no regrets. And so I
Mm.
trained hard and did everything that I needed to do. And ultimately, God blessed me with the opportunity to go play 7 years in the NFL, six of them active and one of them as a practice squad player. But I say it had to come from me facing that adversity and realizing that how I'm remembered on the other side of it was the hope that I needed.
Mhm.
Mm.
And it came from those foundational teachings.
Fozzy, and just so our listeners have context, was before you had that injury, did you expect to get drafted?
There was expectation to get drafted. I had hired an agent and I had multiple agents at that time. Here's the crazy part. Let me back up even a little bit more than that. My
Mhm.
senior year was the best season that I was having in college. There were multiple agents that were reaching out to me because they knew that I had the potential to be drafted. One of the agents even perceived me through the grading system that they have with some of the NFL scouts that they talk with as high as a third round draft pick.
Mhm.
And if you know anything about the NFL draft, there's 7 rounds. Third round is really good. And
Yeah.
so you also can't take agents' word for it. They just trying to, sign you as a client. So there's no true telling where I would have went if I finished the season healthy. But there was thoughts that I could go as high as the third round, especially if I continued to perform the way that I did in the first half of the season and the back half of the season.
Yeah.
And then I get hurt. This is against Missouri. We probably had 4 games left in the year. In
Mhm.
the regular season, I get hurt, tear my ACL, MCL, lateral meniscus, and had a medial microfracture in my right knee.
Wow.
That's a lot of crazy words to say I jacked my knee up.
Yeah, right.
And that ended my career. I was no longer able to play the rest of the season. But it's funny how that weeded out all of these kind of wannabe agents that wanted to
Mm,
represent me. After my
mm,
injury, I didn't hear from several of them. I had at least
yeah,
5 agents that were trying to talk to me at different times.
Yeah.
I only heard from one after my
mm,
after my injury.
mhm,
And that was the person that ultimately I wanted to represent me because they weren't there just for the money as a cut. And for standard NFL contracts, agents get paid 3%. And
mhm,
so I realized at that point, oh, those guys was in it just for the 3% cut that they were expecting to get it. Especially if I went third round, that's more money in their pocket. They can say, oh, yeah, I got this guy drafted third round. And then
yeah,
they're on to the next client that they're
mhm,
trying to recruit to get another first, second, third, fourth round guy to
Yeah.
line their pockets even more. But I realized my agent, his name's Jerry Marlette. He was very young in his career as an agent, only represented a few people, but he was the one that still talked to me. Him and one other person, Mitchell Howie, that was an attorney out in Tennessee as well. Those were the only two that continued to talk to me and have and maintain a relationship and really believed in what I was doing and what I wanted to do and moved forward
Mm,
with wanting to continue to represent me as a client, even though they knew I had no shot of playing in the NFL that following year because of how
mhm,
extensive my injury
yeah,
was. And so
mhm,
that kind of sums it up of where I was, everything pointing upwards
Yeah. Yeah.
during that football season and the injury kind of taking everything away from me.
And just to continue to help our audience understand your path, your resiliency here. So then you take a year off to rehab,
Mhm.
and now you're on a practice squad team trying to make your way onto a
Active
actual
roster.
roster.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a weird story. And so I have the injury. I have surgery about a month later. There was so much swelling within the MCL. They needed to let that heal first before the doctor could go in and surgically repair my ACL. And so we finished the season out. I'm expected to go to the NFL Combine, which is a huge accomplishment. Only the top of the top athletes get invited to the NFL Combine. You get a chance to meet with all these general managers and coaches of prospective teams that want to draft you. They also do extensive testing from your injury history there as well. So I went through all these different tests to check out how severe my knee was. And obviously it wasn't great because of how severely injured it was. They knew I wasn't going to have a chance to play this year. So if a team used a draft slot on me, it would literally be to build for the future since I had no point of necessarily contributing in the upcoming season. And so that kind of created the opportunity for me to finish my degree in school. So I still had one semester left to complete my master's degree. So that spring semester, I go back, finish up my degree while I'm rehabbing and training to make sure that I stay healthy and ready for whatever opportunity presented itself. The NFL draft is in April. So the expectation was if I was a third round draft pick before I got hurt, maybe I still could get drafted late round. Somebody use a pick on me and I get picked up. Well, the draft comes and goes. Nobody picks me up. Then they have what you call the free agency process right after the NFL draft. So they call them priority free agents, people that they want on their roster, but they didn't have a draft spot to be able to get them, but they can still sign you.
mhm,
And so my expectation as my agent is talking to me, it was like, well, there are some teams lined up that want to sign you as a priority free agent, which if you have that priority designation, you get a little bigger signing bonus. And that means the team wanted you. So hopefully that means it's an opportunity for you to do better whenever you get there.
mhm,
Mm,
And so I'm hearing people say this and I'm hearing my agent say this, and nobody ultimately makes a decision or fires an offer over to sign me as a priority free agent or even just as a regular free agent. And that was the low point that I talked about where that doubt
mm,
crept in, where those moments of like, man, am I doing the right thing? Did I give myself this opportunity? Like boom, boom, boom. all of that happened after the NFL draft because I wasn't drafted. I didn't get priority free agent. I didn't get free agent. I didn't get an opportunity to even talk with a team and just go over some of the things that I was going through. And so I spent that night pissed off, mad at the world, upset, questioning God's reasoning. And literally the next morning I had to let it go. And that was whenever I spoke with my mom, and she gave me that foundational reset. And it was like, all right, from here on out, this is what it is. So from April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, I did literally training and worked a part-time job, just expecting an opportunity to play. And then I put all my eggs in that basket. I could have obviously gave up on football and started my professional career in whatever endeavor I wanted. But I said, no, I said, I'm going to give myself 100%. Let me at least get back to 100% health before I say, okay, I gave it all that I got. And it was at the end of November that I got a call from the Arizona Cardinals. My agent let me know they wanted to bring me in for a workout. I go in for the workout. I do what I need to do, go through all the drills and everything, and they ended up signing me to practice squad a week later. So I flew back home, waited a week. So I was like, oh man, ain't nobody gonna sign me. It's the end of the season. Like I must not have done well. I don't know. And I thought maybe that was it. But literally that seventh day, agent called me back, said, hey, they want to sign you. Boom, it's the last couple of weeks of the season. Just go do what you can. So I fly back out there. And that was the start of my NFL journey. But it didn't end there. That start gave me an opportunity to see what it was like to be a professional athlete, to understand what practice was like, the meetings, the regiment leading up to games and preparation for the game. And being a practice squad player means you're literally there to give a look to the active roster who will be playing on Sundays for the games. And so I just
Yeah.
practiced, and like my mom always told me, I'm gonna be the best version of myself. So I try to give the best look in practice that I could. And it was my first taste of the NFL. So that's kind of where I dug my cleats in, and whole bunch of other stuff happened where, the new regime comes in after the end of the season. We didn't have a great year with the Arizona Cardinals. So the head coach gets fired. They bring in a new coach, and what happens with a new coach and a new regime, just like any other business, they bring in their guys. They want their guys in. So I get cut and released immediately. But here's the beauty in the NFL. It's not always what you know. It's sometimes who you know. And you all probably have experienced that in the world as well. Well, my former head coach, Ken Wisenhunt at the Arizona Cardinals, who brought me in and signed me, he's now the offensive coordinator for the San Diego Chargers. Well, guess what? The first call he made whenever I was cut and released was, hey, we're claiming you off of waivers. You're now going to be a San Diego Charger. And what I thought was a disaster and another moment of why this happened to me, God turned into another blessing and an opportunity to go play and compete for an active roster spot. So literally, I get cut one day. The following day, I get picked up. I pack up all my stuff from Arizona, drive over to San Diego for a 5-hour drive, and that was it. Found who I needed to talk to, continued my rehab process, made sure my knee was as strong and back to 100% as possible. Created new friends, gotten a study book, gotten my playbook to study, and put my best foot forward, and was able to actually make that 53-man roster, which is really improbable considering the circumstances that I came from. So I said a lot. I don't know if I lost you on that with the practice
No, it's great.
squad, the
I
active roster, and how that transpired. But that's my story of how I got into the NFL and the
yeah,
opportunities that I needed in order to stay in the
yeah.
NFL.
Fozzy, well, thank you for sharing all that. I mean, I think we just hope that your story is a source of hope and inspiration to folks that maybe feel like maybe the chips are down for them right now, right? And maybe they can't envision something maybe they envisioned for their life earlier. And people might even look at stories like yours, not knowing, just see the highlight reel and not realize that there were some low moments, right? And you had to draw upon your source of inspiration and hope and to get through it. So thank you for sharing all that. Maybe one other Any last question here for us, Fozzy, is the main reason I wanted to have you on the podcast is because you're one of the most joyful people I've ever met. And you even mentioned this in your story, I think, with your little league coach, who was like, what I heard the coach say more or less is, "Hey, we need you out there because your energy is infectious to the rest of the team." Right. So there's ability and capability and what you can do as a running back. Right. But then there's your impact on the overall energy of the team. And that when I heard you say that, I was like, well, that doesn't surprise me at all, because from the moment I met you, I was like, man, this guy is just like always full of joy. And I I think that's quite rare for people to bring as much genuine joy as you have. And I know you've shared about some of your kind of more deep foundational sources of like where that comes from, but is there anything else you could share? Anything like you do any practices you do on a daily basis, or just anything beyond what you've shared that like helps you to bring this joyful outlook that you have?
Yeah, and I like, again, I sound like a broken record, but that joy comes from my mom. I'm a mama's boy. I say that, but it's
Right.
more to it than that. And the reason why I'm a mama's boy is because the way my mom instilled and sacrificed so much for me and my brothers. If you don't know, my dad passed away at the age of 3. Whenever I was 3,
Mhm.
she left, or not. She left. He left my mom with 3 boys that she had to raise, right? So you got a
Mhm.
3-year-old, you got a 7-year-old, you got a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
And I don't know about y'all. I got 2 kids now, 12-year-old and an 8-year-old. If I had to do just 2 kids by myself, like, life would be crazy, chaotic. Like, I don't know
Right.
how I would
Yep.
have been able to survive. Like, it's a lot of different sacrifices that would have need to have been made. I may not have been as happy as I am every single day, like
Mm,
you all experience me.
mm,
And seeing my mom have the joy that she had every single day
Mm.
mm,
was what truly rubbed off on me, because it was she faced crossroads way greater than me, right?
Mhm.
Injuries, that's one thing, but I still have my health.
Mhm.
She lost her life partner
Mhm.
and had to do life alone with 3 kids.
Mm.
And it didn't hit me because I used to be like, man, my mom's always so mean. My mom's always on me. She's always tough on me. Like, all these things growing up. Like, I can't go play outside with these kids, blah, blah, blah. All of these different things. And she's over here instilling life lessons for me because she knows how hard life can be. She
mhm,
knows the road that it takes to get to where she's at. But every single morning I woke up, my mom had a smile on her face. It
mm,
didn't matter if she was a solo parent. It didn't matter if she had her husband. It didn't matter if she had the finances to cover the mortgage for that month. It didn't matter if she could buy his school clothes or not. It didn't matter.
Mhm.
She woke up and she
mm,
wanted to give us everything that we could ask for. Even if we didn't get it when we asked for it, somehow, some way, later down the line, she found a way to make ends meet.
mm,
And I think that joy was what rubbed off on me as a kid, because I saw the energy that she possessed. I saw the passion that she possesses. I saw the light of how people responded to her whenever she was in the room. And that
mm,
infectious nature, that's all from her. And so, from my mindset, I always think about, even in times where I'm feeling sore or if I'm feeling down and out, I think about, is it easier to moan, complain, and just give in to the negative thoughts and the doubtful thoughts? Absolutely.
mhm,
But would I become a better person, or will I be able to learn through adversity if I took the easy way?
Mm.
If
Mm.
I did 3 laps instead of 4 laps? If I
mm,
was supposed to be running 100% on all 6 of my gassers, and, maybe on that 6th gasser, I said, "Imma just give 50%," right?
mhm,
It's so much easier to do that, but would I be the person and the leader that I would be proud of if I look back and said, I gave it everything I got, and I truly didn't believe that? And so that's where I really start to have those mental conversations of like, all right, it's easy to be down. Why
Mhm.
not be up? Because that's harder to do, right? And if I wanna go to where I wanna go to, or if I wanna get to the places that I wanna get to, well, easy ain't gonna cut it, right? I
Yeah.
gotta cut my teeth on something that people haven't done before because I want to do things that I haven't done before. And so that's what basically created the opportunity for me to just have a mindset where easy wasn't good enough. I
Mm,
need to push myself to continue to expand the boundaries of where I can go because I ultimately think my boundaries can be limitless with
mm,
what foundational teachings and everything
mm,
that I believe in and the experiences that I've gone through and the experiences that I will continue to go through as long as God says you're here. Well, I'm still learning and I'm still growing. Well, I'm continuously growing off of the things that I've seen and will continue to see. So that's where I would say my mom she still got it. She still
yeah.
got it. That's what makes me a mama's boy.
Fozzie, was there a point in your life or career where you sort of recognized this contagious, joyful energy that you bring to every room you're in? That you sort of recognized that as a strength and started to sort of harness it and really, use it as a strength that to your advantage?
It really came from conditioning and track.
Okay.
And I don't know if maybe I was just more conditioned than some of the other guys that I was running with or whatever the case may be, but we could do the workout and I could still talk and have energy and I'd be like, "All right, guys, hey, we
Yeah.
got this. Let's go finish. Let's go
Oh,
give
interesting.
it our all."
Yeah.
And same way in football, right? We'd run in gassers. I'm sending encouragement to my brothers, right? If I can
Mhm.
breathe, if I have an opportunity to say something,
Mm.
then Imma use that to help uplift somebody else so that in turn,
Mhm.
the product as a whole
Mhm.
becomes better, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like if I internalize that and only kept it to myself, maybe I become better, but does that actually benefit the entire team? Or
Yeah.
does that just in benefit or does that benefit me selfishly?
Yeah.
And being around team sports for all of my life, I understand you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Mhm.
It don't matter how strong your top guy is. What about the guy down low? Because when you facing another team, that's the guy that's gonna get picked on. Right?
Yeah.
It won't be you. You won't get the opportunity to win the game. It's gonna be the guy that's at the bottom of the totem pole because that's who they
Mm,
scouted for. That's
mm,
who they said, this is the
mm,
guy we're gonna pick on to beat, and that's how we're gonna win this game. So if I
Yeah.
can elevate or help elevate, right? It's not just me, it's my teammates too. But if we all can help elevate our weakest link and you
Yeah.
see us out there, it makes me think of the movie 300. I don't know if you
mm,
all are familiar with that, but Gerard
yeah.
Butler obviously played that well, and it's the story of Sparta. But you look at the 300 soldiers that was out there, where's the weak link? They
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah.
How do
Right.
you attack it?
Yeah.
Don't know how. You can't defeat it, right? And
Mhm,
it took
mhm,
some other maneuvering skills for them to actually fall as they faced
mhm. Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of opponents and they still
Mm,
were able to almost come away victorious. But
mhm.
we all know how that story goes. But that's the same mindset that I possess because
Yeah.
I was a part of a team sport for so long. Is like, man,
Yeah.
if we all can get to that level, then imagine how unbeatable we can be. And I got
Yeah.
to play in the state semifinals, right? I was one game away from playing in a high school state championship. I got to play in a national championship in college. I got to play in a Super Bowl in the
Mm,
NFL. And so that was the experiences that took not just me, but my entire team to say, hey, we're reaching the pinnacle because all of us are rowing in the same direction. And so that's where I think with me being infectious, I
Yeah.
could see the benefit, not
Yeah.
just for me, right? I'm not doing it just for me. I'm happy. I'm good, right? Or
Yeah.
at least I feel like I'm good. But
You
I could see the benefit that it could have for others to be able to have somebody like that, or at least have that hope or that positivity within there because they experience enough negativity.
Yeah.
I think more positivity is always a positive thing. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to be that. If nobody else is, then you can always count on me to be there from a positive standpoint.
Love it. Love it. Well, I know many describe you as the ultimate teammate, but now we're going to sort of flip that question on you. So, who's the best teammate you've ever had, and what made them such a great teammate?
Man, that's a good question. I've had some great teammates over the years, all the way from the professional ranks down to my little league days. And I got to say, my best teammate, I point back to it, and it started at the beginning of this podcast of us talking about him. But Sam Proctor of the South Belt Dolphins,
Mhm.
The very first person that I went against that was stronger than me, that was just as fast, that was bigger, he and I actually ran on the same track team together. And it takes me back to the biblical days, right? Again, a broken record, but it's the iron sharpens iron type of mentality and mindset.
Mm,
Because of who he was and because of who I was as athletes with potential to be elite in our perspective, different sports and different areas and different positions that we played in, if I pushed him a little bit more, that means he's going to push me a little bit more. And with
mhm,
us continuously pushing each other, we start reaching new levels. And it wasn't until high school that we actually got to become football teammates. We ran summer track together, but that was always in the summer. We played against each other all the time in football, whether it was little league, even in ninth grade. He went to Pasadena Dobie. I went to Pearland. We played against each other in ninth grade. Didn't play each other in 10th grade, but then 11th grade, he actually moved to Pearland. And so we became teammates at the high school level for the first time, 11th grade. And then in our senior year, we make it to the state semifinals. But we were able to push each other in track practice as we were growing up. And then having that type of person next to me at the high school level,
mhm.
it just created another opportunity for me to elevate my game to another level. We would do stadiums after games. Like the day after a game, we go do stadium stairs at night, like 9 p.m. at night. Just us two, nobody else, just us two. We would have conversations with each other about what we needed to do as leaders on this team if we want to make it to the state championship. We used to say the chant word SC as state championship as our kind of mindset and the goal. So we just walk around sometimes. SC, bro. SC. Whenever the workouts got tough and
Mm,
we wanted to quit or stop or slow down, we just SC. And we knew what that stood for. We knew what the standard was, and we knew how we needed to hold each other accountable. And I think that's what created such a great relationship with he and I, and the dynamic as a great teammate
mm,
and as a great leader was because he wasn't selfish in his thoughts. He knew, he needed me to push him because that would elevate him. And in the same way, I knew I needed him to push me because that would elevate me
yeah.
in the same way. And so I truly believe he is a one of one type of individual. And we both share our faith in the same thing. And so our symmetry and the way that we just live life is so similar. And his dad passed away at a young age. So
Mhm.
his mom had to raise him and three other siblings. So she had four kids she had to raise solo.
Wow.
So we had very similar backgrounds. We had similar experiences. We both come from the same type of background, and it just made sense for both of us to be around each other. And he is the ultimate teammate for somebody that you will want on your side whenever you go to battle in whatever walk or phase of life that there is. So
Uh,
that's my bro all the way. I talked to him this morning. Obviously, he wished me happy birthday, but
Nice.
had a chance to catch up with him. But he's a true man of faith and a true man of character that helped shape me into who I am today.
Love that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, Fozzy. Hey, Fozzy, before we wrap up today, a couple of questions. Where can people find you if they want to follow you, learn more about you? And then is there anything you'd like to promote today?
Yeah, so I'm on social media, Fozzy Wit. That's two Z's and two T's. So FOZZY I'm on Instagram. I'm on X, Twitter as well. I have a Facebook account also if you utilize Facebook. And for me, man, I just have a ton of fun. You can find me on ESPN doing certain college football broadcasts. SEC Network is a lot of where I'm featured at, as well as Sirius XM Radio. If you like to listen to the radio and don't want to see my face. And then I also am a part of our podcast that covers Texas athletics. It's called Third and Longhorn. And we're on, every streaming platform as well as YouTube if you like the video aspect of it as well. And I just love sports. So you all can catch me at any of those venues and around and about at UT games in the city of Austin.
Awesome, Fozzy. Well, thank you so much for being our first guest. Thank you again for joining us on your birthday. It's been so great to have you on.
I appreciate you all having me, man. This was a blast, and I hope you all have a blessed rest of your day, and hope this season continues to go well for you all.
Thanks
Thanks,
so much,
Fozzy.
Fozzy. Well, thanks as always for tuning in to this episode of Leading Together. If you found it valuable, be sure to like, subscribe, or leave a review. It helps more leaders and leadership teams discover conversations like this. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment with your thoughts. You can also find more resources at sixlevers.co, that's C-O. Until next time, remember to take that one step towards becoming a more cohesive leadership team.